Said, open relationships are normal now. Don't be insecure. After I found her messages, so I let her have her freedom and moved out quietly. Now she's panicking that none of her options want anything serious. Hey viewers, before we get into the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. I used to think the worst kind of betrayal was catching someone physically cheating. Now, I think it's the slow emotional erosion, the kind that disguises itself as personal growth and modern love. It doesn't shatter your heart all at once. It slowly dissolves your sense of reality, piece by piece. My name's Eric. I'm 29, a software engineer, and until about 6 months ago, I was in a 2-year relationship with a woman named Sarah. I genuinely thought she was the one. We met at a friend's game night. She was the loud, funny one, the kind of person who could brighten any room. She worked in marketing, bounced between startups, and told me she liked how grounded I was. At the time, I didn't think much of it. But looking back, it should have been the first warning sign. People who find stability interesting often aren't ready for it. Still, the beginning was great. Sarah had this chaotic energy I actually admired. She'd get excited over the smallest things, finding the perfect mug at a thrift store, taking the long way home just to catch the golden hour. I was more structured, sure, but I liked how she pulled me out of my shell. I brought calm to her storms, and she brought color to my routine. I supported her when she was between jobs. I paid the rent for 3 months and never made her feel bad about it. I built her a website when she wanted to freelance. I even bought her a used camera when she said she wanted to try content creation. I wasn't just her boyfriend, I was her safety net. And at first, she appreciated that. Then things started to shift, slowly. Maybe it was the algorithm pushing those poly set creators. Maybe it was her friend Kelsey, who treated every guy like a walking wallet. Or maybe this was always who Sarah was beneath the surface. It started with small comments. Monogamy is kind of a colonial concept when you think about it. You wouldn't get mad if I kissed someone at Burning Man, right? That's not real cheating. You don't own me, you know? At first, I laughed it off, but the jokes became sharper, more direct. Then came the guilt tripping. Anytime I expressed discomfort, I was labeled insecure or controlling. I wasn't forbidding anything, I was just asking questions. Even that became too much. The moment everything became clear happened on a random Tuesday night. We were watching TV. She got up to take a shower and left her Apple Watch charging on the side table. A message lit up. Still thinking about Saturday night. You're unreal. From a guy named Travis. I didn't go looking for it. I didn't have to. That one message was enough. My stomach dropped. I paused the show and just sat there, staring at it. My ears started ringing. When she came out of the shower, wrapped in a towel, she saw me holding her watch. Who's Travis? I asked. My voice wasn't angry, just numb. She froze for a second, then crossed her arms. What are you doing going through my stuff? I didn't. It lit up while I was sitting here. She scoffed and snatched the watch from my hand like I'd stolen it. Jesus, Eric, that's so invasive. He's just a friend. I didn't respond. You're being ridiculous. What? I can't have guy friends now? Friends don't text like that, I said calmly. She rolled her eyes and walked into the bedroom. God, you're so insecure sometimes. I followed her. Did you hook up with him? She pulled on a t-shirt. We hung out. It wasn't a big deal. You cheated on me. I explored. You and I are too rigid. Eric, you never want to talk about non-monogamy. I've brought it up like 10 times, and you keep acting like this 1950s dad who thinks he's me. I just stood there. She was rewriting reality, and somehow I was the problem. I thought we were exclusive, I said. You assumed, she replied. I was trying to expand how we connect, and instead of being open-minded, you turn it into this moral issue. Seriously, open relationships are normal now. You sound like a dinosaur. I stayed silent. The silence seemed to get to her, because she shifted again. I didn't lie to you. I just didn't feel the need to narrate every interaction I have. That's not cheating, that's me having agency, taught agency. Like sleeping with someone behind your partner's back was some kind of empowerment. I went to bed without saying another word. She tried to cuddle, but I turned away. That night, something in me shut down. No yelling, no slammed doors. I just stared at the ceiling and realized this wasn't my person. This wasn't even a relationship. It was emotional hostage-taking, dressed up in buzzwords and gaslighting. The next morning, I made coffee. She kept talking about how we shouldn't let one disagreement ruin something beautiful. I nodded as I sipped my coffee. Inside, I was already done. She left for work around 10 o'clock. I called in sick, and then I got to work on myself. By 2 p.m., I had reserved a storage unit. By 5 p.m., I'd booked a short-term sublet across town. Over the next 2 days, while she was at work, I packed up everything that was mine, my desk, my PC, clothes, books, guitar, everything. I even left behind the things I had bought for her. She could keep them. The last thing I did before locking the door was leave a single note on the kitchen counter. You're free now, just like you wanted. Don't contact me. Then I walked out and never looked back. The first few weeks were strangely quiet. I thought I'd feel free. Instead, it felt like I had stepped off a moving train. Everything was still. There was no Sarah's voice echoing through the apartment, no sarcastic remarks, no laughter, no TikToks playing in the special background. Just me, a fold-out bed, beige walls, and silence. For a while, I kept waiting for the breakdown, the moment I'd cry, scream, or regret everything. But it never came. I was heartbroken, yeah, but not because I missed her. I missed who I thought she was. There's a difference. In that silence, I started doing things I hadn't done in years. I reconnected with friends I hadn't seen since she labeled them boring. I started going to the gym every morning. I took long walks without checking my phone. I opened a savings account just for myself. I started sleeping deeper, better. The biggest change? I stopped second-guessing myself. Sarah used to make me feel like every boundary I had was an attack on her freedom. Like wanting exclusivity meant I was trying to cage her. Like wanting honesty meant I was trying to control her narrative. But now, I was alone. And for the first time in 2 years, I felt sane. I didn't block her everywhere, just the main channels: phone, Instagram, email. I knew if she really wanted to reach me, she'd find a way. And after 2 weeks of silence, she did. It started with a mutual friend texting me. "Hey, not taking sides, but Sarah's been spiraling. You okay?" I ignored it. 3 days later, I got an email from her personal account. The subject line alone said enough. "I miss you. Please read this." I didn't. 2 more emails followed, then a long message through Venmo. Yes, she literally sent $1 with a note. "I hate how things ended. Can we talk?" I refunded it without replying. That's when the tone shifted. About a week after the Venmo stunt, I got a call from an unknown number. I didn't answer. Then a text came in. "Hey, it's Sarah's friend Tasha. She's not doing great. She just wants closure. Could you meet her? Even once?" Closure. Funny how people want closure only after the door actually shuts behind them. I didn't respond. But updates started coming in, not from Sarah, but from the world we used to share. A guy from our old friend group messaged me out of nowhere. "Dude, Travis, the guy she messed around with, total clown. She went all in and he ghosted her after a week." A few days later, someone I barely knew reached out. "Not sure if you care, but Sarah's blowing up her friend group. Everyone's kind of over her drama." I didn't reply to any of them, but I won't lie, reading those messages felt validating. Apparently, after I left, she tried flipping the narrative. Told people I was emotionally repressive, that I abandoned her because I couldn't handle a strong woman with options. But people saw through it, especially when she started crying on Instagram about men being trash while posting thirst traps in the same breath. Her follower count dropped. Group chats went quiet. Travis never became her boyfriend. He told people she was too intense. The other guys she had lined up all fizzled out. One had a girlfriend and just wanted a fling. Another never even showed up for the date. She went from liberated and exploring to accidentally single and confused in under a month. That's when the desperation really set in. One evening, I walked into my building's lobby and there she was. Sarah, standing by the elevator in a hoodie, arms crossed, like she hadn't blown up our entire relationship 6 weeks earlier. She looked smaller somehow, less confident. Or maybe I was just seeing clearly now. "Hey," she said. I didn't respond. I didn't know how else to reach you. You blocked me everywhere. I did. She hesitated. "I didn't expect you to just disappear like that." I raised an eyebrow. "You said open relationships were normal. I gave you what you wanted, freedom." She flinched. "I was wrong, okay? I was trying to figure myself out. I didn't mean to hurt you. You weren't figuring anything out. You were stringing me along while chasing attention." "That's not fair," she snapped, though her voice wavered. "No," I said calmly. "What wasn't fair was asking for loyalty while planning your exit." She, special, looked down. "I miss you," she whispered. "Everything feels so empty now." I nodded. "Yeah, that's what happens when you burn bridges before you know how to swim." She looked like she might cry. I didn't care. "You don't even want to hear me out?" she asked. "I did hear you out. That night, you called me controlling, insecure, and outdated. That was the last conversation we needed." She stared at me like she didn't recognize me. Maybe she didn't. Maybe, for the first time, she was seeing me not as the quiet guy who would do anything to keep her happy, but as someone who finally understood he deserved better. "You're really not coming back, are you?" "No," I said, "and neither are you." Then I walked past her, pressed the elevator button, and didn't look back. After that encounter in the lobby, I thought she'd finally get the message. She didn't. A week later, my email inbox blew up again. Not just from Sarah, from her mother. Yeah, her actual mom emailed me. Subject line: "Sarah's hurting. Please don't abandon her when she needs you most." As if I hadn't already watched her drive our relationship off a cliff, set it on fire, and live-streamed the fall. The email was a guilt trip wrapped in concern. Long paragraphs about how Sarah had always struggled with relationships, how I was the first stable presence in her life, and how a strong man doesn't walk away when a woman is confused. I didn't respond. I archived it like spam. Then her sister, Jenny, texted me out of nowhere. I know she messed up, but you guys had something real. She cries every night. I blocked the number. A few days later, I found a handwritten letter in my building's mailbox. No stamp, just folded paper. Eric, you didn't even give me a chance to explain. I wasn't trying to replace you. I was scared. I thought if I had options, I'd feel safer. But all I've done is ruin the one person who actually saw me. I miss your quiet mornings, your coffee. I miss how safe I felt with you. I thought I wanted special chaos. I thought I wanted excitement. I was wrong. Please, even just a coffee. Let me show you. I've changed. Sarah stared at it for a full minute. Then I tore it in half and threw it in the trash with the same finality I used when I erased her from my life. But she still wasn't done.
2 days later, my boss called me. Hey, Eric. Weird question. Did you give someone permission to visit you here?
What? Number okay? There was a woman in the lobby asking for you. Said she was your girlfriend. I closed my eyes and took a slow breath. She's not. Sorry about that. Won't happen again. It was pathetic. The persistence, the pressure, the desperate attempts to force a reunion like this was some rom-com instead of a self-inflicted disaster. But what really stuck with me was this: she wasn't sorry for what she did. She was sorry she lost access to me. The final straw came on a Sunday afternoon. I stopped by a cafe with some coworkers. We were grabbing coffee before a movie. As we walked in, I saw her, Sarah, sitting alone by the window, laptop open, headphones on, like someone trying to manifest stability. Our eyes met. I gave a polite nod and turned back to my group. Of course, she got up and walked straight over. Fake smile, gloss lips. Like she hadn't spent months tearing apart my peace. She said, a little breathless. Hey, I replied, flat, emotionless. She glanced past me at my friends. One of them was a woman, a new hire from our development team. Sarah's eyes narrowed for just a second. Can we talk, please? I stepped aside with her, close enough to be civil, far enough that I could walk away at any moment. She folded her arms and looked up at me like she still thought she had leverage. I know you hate me right now. I don't, I said. You're just not part of my life anymore. She blinked. That hit her. You really think I'm some kind of monster, don't you? No, I think you're selfish, impulsive, and very good at dressing up betrayal and intellectual language too. That's why I had accountability. Wow, her jaw tightened. You really don't believe in forgiveness? I believe in it. I just don't believe in recycling red flags. She scoffed. You think you're better than me now? No, I said. I know I am. There it was, the shift. Her whole body tensed, like the mask cracked too quickly. You've changed, she snapped. I have. You helped with that. Is that girl with you your new girlfriend? Not that it's any of your business, but no. She's just a friend. She tried to play it cool, but the jealousy was obvious. I was lost, Eric. I didn't know what I wanted. You did, I said. You wanted freedom, attention, options, and you got them. I paused. But none of them chose you back, did they? She looked at me like I'd just slapped her. But I wasn't being cruel, I was being honest. Something she never gave me. You act like I ruined everything. You did, I said simply. But the good news is, you did me a favor. You showed me exactly what to avoid for the rest of my life. Her breathing grew heavier, her voice tightening. You're being so cold. No, I'm being clear. I'm not angry, Sarah. I just don't care anymore. She shook her head. So that's it? You're done with me forever? I was done the night you looked me in the eye and told me open relationships were normal. You wanted the door open? I walked out of it. Then I turned back to my group and left her standing there. No drama, no scene, just a woman left holding the consequences of her choices with no one else to blame. That was the last time I ever saw her. No more emails, no more surprise visits, no more friends reaching out on her behalf, just silence. Maybe she finally understood. Maybe she realized that whatever hold she once had over me, the charm, the gaslighting, the performative self-importance, didn't work anymore. Maybe she saw that the version of me who would have taken her back out of guilt was gone. Or maybe, like every option she chased, she just lost interest once there. There's no attention left to take. I never really cared to find out. In the months that followed, life got better. Not overnight, but steadily, quietly. I got promoted at work, started leading a new product team, picked up a new hobby, boxing. There was something therapeutic about hitting a heavy bag in complete silence. No words, no arguments, no manipulation, just release. I moved into a new place. Bigger kitchen, better lighting, no ghosts. And yeah, I started dating again, carefully, slowly. No rushing, no desperation. Just seeing people for who they are, not who I want them to be. One of them is a woman named Lee. is still around. We're not rushing to define anything, but she's the most emotionally grounded person I've met in years. She listens more than she speaks. She asks questions instead of making accusations. When I told her about my past with Sarah, she didn't flinch. She just said, "Well, it sounds like you finally chose yourself." She was right. It's not about replacing Sarah. It's about removing the version of me that tolerated her, the part that mistook gaslighting for communication, that confused chaos with passion, that believed loyalty meant waiting around while someone decided whether I was enough. That version of me is gone. And good riddance. A few weeks ago, I got invited to a mutual friend's engagement party someone from the old group Sarah and I used to hang out with. I almost didn't go, but in the end, I realized I had nothing to hide from. Leah came with me. It was a backyard event. Music, string lights, people laughing. We mingled, had some wine, talked to old acquaintances who, surprisingly, didn't mention Sarah at all. It was like she'd faded from everyone's memory. Until she showed up. Yes, she arrived late. Alone. Her hair was shorter, her makeup heavier, her smile different. Not the bright, genuine one I used to love. This one didn't reach her eyes. She was trying to look unbothered, happy, content, but it wasn't convincing. She spotted special me across the yard. Her expression froze when she saw Leah. Leah had her arm loosely around my waist, listening to me tell a dumb story about a coffee machine war at work. She laughed at the punchline just as Sarah stopped in her tracks, and I swear Sarah turned around and walked the other way. No hello, no wave, no scene, just a slow turn, and she left. That's when I knew it was truly over. Not just the relationship, but the power she thought she had, the emotional leverage, the guilt. The way she used to make me feel like I owed her silence while she figured herself out. Gone. That night, Lee and I went home, opened a bottle of wine, and watched a movie. No drama, no lies. Just two people enjoying peace, the kind that comes after the storm, when the wreckage is cleared and everything finally goes quiet. Sometimes I still think about the note I left behind. "You're free now, just like you wanted. Don't contact me." At the time, it felt like the bare minimum. Now I realize it was everything. Freedom without accountability is a cage you build for yourself. And as far as I know, she's still stuck in hers. Me? I'm just living. Thanks for watching.